Chris, and this is my Bound for Glory review. Bound for Glory, of course, was tonight. I just got done watching it not too long ago, so let's get my thoughts and what I thought of it, and just kind of all of that sort of thing. We started the match out with the Steel Asylum match, which myself and Dirty White Boy both commented yesterday that this is definitely the match. If they were going to do this match, it needed to start off the show. I'm glad that they did. Of course, Suicide was not in the match, which, you know, threw my theory out the window. But this was a good match, and it was a good little spot fest match. Was a lot of fun. Got the fans into it. I enjoyed it. There were some pretty inventive spots we hadn't seen before. Not the same old stuff we'd seen over and over again. No, we saw some of that stuff too. But overall, I thought this was a good match and great way to open up the show. So 3.5 there. Next we had the BIMBO BRAWL. This was stupid. I'm being nice, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree. I'm being nice, giving this a 1/4 star. Really, I am. I'm giving this a 1/4 star because there were elements of the match, probably maybe 30 seconds of this whole match that I thoroughly enjoyed. Other than that, this was bad stuff, folks. This was brain-numbingly stupid. You had the men and the women both fighting against each other. You had, you know, it was bad. That's all I'm going to say. This was the only thing that really saved this match was that ODB and Rhino were over. Other than that, this was not good and blah. Next we had Sheik Abdul versus Consequences Creed. This was a very good match, or not a very good match, but this was a pretty good match, I would say, or an almost good match. They brought out a war vet, I'm guessing from somewhere, who had gone through 24 surgeries on his leg. You definitely tell he was limping a bit, to announce Consequences Creed and get the whole, you know, USA thing going, which worked very well. Added, you know, definitely made sure that the fans would be into the match, which was good. An excellent idea here, and I give TNA, you know, props with that. It was very well done on that sense. But the match was pretty good, except that it was a bit sloppy, and the ending just came out of nowhere, which was something that we saw a lot tonight, where the endings just you know, and you know that does hurt a match when you're not even, you know, you can have a flash win, but it really kind of should build up to where the fans were at least ready for it to end to agree, and it just left kind of just a eh. Next we have Taylor Wilde versus Awesome Kong versus Roxxi. This was a match I was looking forward to. I think most people were looking forward to, and this did not deliver, in my opinion. You know, they gave this about as much time as they gave the BIMBO BRAWL, which, you know, I think says a lot about what they think about the women's division, in my view. This was going on very good too. It had a good little story with Taylor Wilde and Roxxi teaming up on Awesome Kong, and then the finish just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was like, wow, that came out of nowhere. And so it was okay, 2.5. So there is that. Then we had the Monsters Ball match. This was a lot of fun. It was a plunder match, and if it wasn't for Mongo McMichaels, this would actually get a lot higher rating. I'm sure a lot of people are going to rate this maybe a little bit higher, depending on how much you like these types of matches. And I usually like matches like this, and I thought they did a really good job, because they kept as many guys out of the ring as possible, and they really focused to the guys in the ring, and they never really had a lot of guys in the ring at one time, so it was kind of easy to follow, and then you could see guys on the outside fighting every once in a while. So I think to that part, I think it worked really well. But Mongo just sucked as a ref, and I think this is one of those matches where it really shows how important a referee is, and a good referee is. This didn't work. It was bad. It was really bad. I mean, you had a moment where and see, stuff like this just bugs me, where Mongo took thumbtacks away from one team and then helped another team open the thumbtacks. It was just weird, and they were both face teams. It wasn't like it was a face and a heel team. It was very strange. 3.5. Fun. You know, Abyss, you know, went through a flaming table, caught on fire. That was interesting to see. But yeah. Next we had AJ Styles and Christian Cage versus Booker T. This was a lot of fun, I felt. AJ went out there and kicked ass. Just lots of good fast-paced really good match, which really, again, the ending is the only thing I think really hurt this, as again, the ending just kind of just seemed to come out of nowhere, I felt. So 3 3/4 there. Next we had Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett. This was, Jeff definitely brought it. I always think Jeff is a bit underrated when it comes as a worker, and they worked pretty well together. My only big fault with the match is, you know, as with a lot of Jeff Jarrett matches, particularly his title matches in TNA, where you had too much stuff happening at the end. We all knew there was going to be a run-in, or a ref bump or whatever, but it was a little too long and dragged out. It worked to a degree, but it really took away from the match, in my opinion. Another 3 3/4 star match. Next we had Joe versus Sting. This was actually very good. Thanks a lot to do with Joe. Joe dominated a very, very good portion of this. Looked like the Sting of old. I was sitting there thinking, where is this, or the Joe of old? I was like, where has this Joe been? He did an awesome spot where they fought, and this was a big problem I had with this match, was, you know, they fought outside the ring, up into the crowd and all this stuff for about 7 minutes, and to me that was a bit much, because this was supposed to be just a regular match, and, you know, this, it just was just kind of to me. But during this, they got up, you know, because they were in a stadium, so they were going up the stairs, and they had Sting on like the last level of stairs before you get to the top level of stairs where Joe was, and Joe ran off of those over the railing down to where, and dove down to where Sting was, hitting Sting with like a missile drop kick. I'm not even explaining the spot well. It was awesome. It was an awesome spot. There was another spot in the ring where they basically stole each other's finishers and then no-sold the finishers. That was kind of a cool spot. The ending, though, was just, oh my god, where Kevin Nash came down, turned on Joe with the bat. It was just, you know, a lot of people already griping because Sting won. You know, and that really, in my opinion, kind of took away from the match. But, again, another 3 3/4 star match. So, pretty good stuff overall. Excuse me. Pretty good stuff overall. I would give the pay-per-view an 8.25. Because even though there was nothing truly great on it, I think there was a lot of good on it. You know, there was only really, you know, one bad match on it. Everything else was okay to, you know, to almost great. And I think that's more than what you can ever ask on a pay-per-view. The endings, though, I do think definitely hurt the pay-per-view to a very large degree, and just not, you know, you want definite endings on, especially your major matches, on, you know, even with WrestleMania or Bound for Glory or whatever, on your major pay-per-views, and it kind of hurt where we didn't really see that, particularly in the main event. Though it will lead on to other things, and I know people are going to say people are overreacting with Joe losing because, you know, it'd probably mean AJ's going to get the title, which I'm fine with. I just think AJ versus Joe would be a better feud than, you know, this whole thing they're doing now. But anyways, that's just the way I see it. I'm out. Have a good one. Like I said, 8.25. I do recommend seeing the pay-per-view. I think overall it is an enjoyable pay-per-view. I just think that it's definitely a flawed pay-per-view as well. But I definitely think it's enjoyable, and I think there's enough on there for people to watch to enjoy it and to have a good time. So I'm out. Have a good one. Later.